2323. TREV2323. Subscribe, like, share, but don't hit the notification button because I upload too much and I'll drive you crazy. But this right here is about this company or these companies or this foundation or this organization that bought 55,000 acres of land around Travis Air Force Base. They bought 55,000 acres on 3 sides of Travis Air Force Base. Now, when they first purchased the land, it wasn't public record of who owned the land. How can you spend almost $1 billion in the United States and it not be a public record? I mean, people are trying to figure out, find out. Of course, the first thing is China bought the land, China bought the land. But rightfully so, because China owns so much big businesses and land in America. It was once said in one article I read that China believes is America is their backyard, that they don't got a lot of propagatable land over there, so they purchased their land in here to farm, to raise stuff, to ship out. I mean, they own our largest hog farm, and then Saudi Arabia drains Arizona for their water to grow alfalfa just to ship back to Saudi Arabia. I mean, it's unreal. But now with this 55,000 acres of land, it turned out to be a lot of the tech. Somebody mentioned LinkedIn. One of the owners of LinkedIn or the founders of LinkedIn, then another founder of some other company high ups. It's all tech people, and what they want to do is they want to build communities, lands, properties, but they want to be like green, solar, wind, and all this. But that's what they're saying. That's what they're leading this with. That's what they're leading this revolution with, which I don't believe is true. Because I think it was Franklin Roosevelt, Theodore Roosevelt, somebody said, buy land because they're not making any more of it. Okay? Now, in this process, I don't know if it's Jeff Bezos that owns it. It's called Arrive. I don't know if you heard of Arrive, but Arrive now is an organization, allegedly Jeff Bezos started it, so you could purchase most of the properties in the United States, most of the land and most of the properties, but they break them down into, instead of one person buying it, 2 people buying it, 3 people buying it, that this is the next property, and we're going to put out this much shares to buy this property, and you can have ownership in this property, ownership in that property, ownership in that property. You got $1,000, you could own 5 different properties, and it's going to be a rent generated revenue. And how they're going to control the rent is they own the land, they own the properties, they own everything. So my thing with this thing with these tech giants and building all these homes and building all these communities is, you know, with all the people that are working in California, Silicon Valley, they can't afford to live there, you know. But now with all these new properties and all these new developments, this green and this solar, it's going to be a utopia, right? I bet you they're going to rent them. I bet you everything in there is going to be controlled. The rent's going to be controlled. Your electricity is going to be controlled. Everything is going to be controlled. This way, they can control the rent market in that area. Now, buying land right now, it's unreal because the interest rates are still really high, right? But the market's not crashing and the interest rates are still high. So you're paying a lot of money for these houses. But what's happening is so many houses are being swooped up by corporations. It's like the World Economic Forum is said that this is what's going to happen and this is what's going to happen. You will rent from us and you will be happy. That's what that's the billionaires, the big billionaire things, when they had their meeting, they said you will rent from us and you will be happy. Because they want to own all the land, the houses, the buildings, the communities, and they want to control the rent in those areas. And it is happening because we know people looking for houses right now, and they put the money down, they'll put $10,000 over asking, and it's waived because somebody came in with cash, a business came in with cash, they came in cash and they're waiving the inspections. Cash waiving the inspections. Cash waiving the inspections. Conventional waiving the inspections. Conventional waiving the you know, and then they're not even doing good rehabs. They're not even doing good rehabs. They're doing shoddy work. They're hiring the lowest paid contractors to do the work to rent it out. And then if this one's rented out and they own 16 houses in this area, they raise all the rents on all the 16 houses, all the 20 houses. So that means the other rents are going to start going up in the area. And that's how they're controlling the rent in the area. So I'm almost like the whoever said buy land, they're not making any more of it. Man, I want to grab my little 5 acres of land right now because they're not making any more of it. They're building on everything, and it's not stuff you can eat. Now, there's farmers doing it. They're like timeshares for farmers, and I wish I knew somebody that did it because I think it's awesome that farmers are struggling, right? The small farmers struggling, where they're doing like timeshares or what's it called? Like a co-op of a cow. Co-op of a cow where 5 people could pay this farmer to raise this cow for them. 5 people could pay this farmer to raise that cow for them. Every expense or cost for that cow, but the farmer maintains the cow for the people. Of course, he's making his profit off the top, but probably in the butchering and processing, because then each people have their evenly divided stuff from the cow. So I think that's a good idea. That's a good something to do. We're in Chicago, so our gardening season is small, but we do garden a lot. And one thing that's easy to grow that I'm gonna start trying to be on a cycle with it is my lettuces. Well, I grow a lot of lettuces because they seed inside their pots. So next year I always get more lettuces, but I prefer kale and spinach. Is what I prefer, kale and spinach. So I want to start growing repetitively kale and spinach that I can have. The side of my house, I'm all full of berries because I eat a lot of berries on keto. Okay, so my thing is with this thing in Travis Air Force Base is there's going to be so much about it because now they're saying that the people did not want to sell their property. So not wanting to sell the property, they increased the price of their property. So all these billionaires, all these people still bought the property and paid the inflated price, hired lawyers so they could sue the people to get their money back. Okay, well, it's not the people's fault that didn't want to sell. And you basically, they say, well, you know, they give you a ridiculous price because they don't want to sell, and you paid it. Now you're hiring lawyers to sue them to get your money back. But here, a blue collar worker goes and buys a lemon. They got 3 days to turn the lemon in, or they're out of money. I can't go into a car dealership and say, you know what? I felt like I paid $10,000 more for this car, so I want my $10,000 back. They're asking for millions and millions of dollars back from the people they took, basically strong-armed them and took the land. And the people gave them a ridiculous price because they didn't want to sell it, and they paid it. And now they want it back, but they know they're going to get that money back. They're going to get it back because they want to build all these houses. And I guarantee you they're not going to sell all those houses. They're going to rent them out so they can control the market. So when I say I want to buy land, I want to buy like at least 5 acres. I just want to have my land because it is going so fast. So much billionaires, so much people from other countries, billionaires, are buying the land right here. And it's not benefiting the little guy any. All right, talk to you later. Subscribe, like, and share.